The SU-152 is a Soviet Tier 7 tank destroyer. The development of this tank destroyer on the basis of KV-1S heavy tank began in January 4, 1943. The vehicle received the designation KV-14 or Object 236. A first prototype underwent field trials at the beginning of February 1943 and entered service on February 14, 1943. In April, the KV-14 was renamed SU-152. By December 1943, 670 vehicles were manufactured. Thanks to its ability to successfully combat German Tiger I and Panther tanks, the SU-152 was dubbed Hunter by the troops. In World of Tanks, this tank destroyer leads to SU-152, but let's see how it fares in some gameplay. Hello guys, and welcome back to World of Tanks Ace Tanker series. As you can see, today we'll be driving the SU-152, and driving the SU-152 is Anika Bam Bam. So yeah, this is one of those 9.15.1 replays that I didn't manage to get to in time, and now I finally have the chance and the abilities to make this one, and this is going to be a nice replay and I suggest you stick to it. But first of all, I have to say we have some technical issues with the replay. As you may have noticed in the top right corner, you can see that the countdown is already at 8 minutes, so yeah, the replays are still not working very well, but the most important thing is that we can record them, and well, that's it. So we are going to see in this replay, we are going to see how you should play your SU-152. Well, as I said, live oaks, and what you usually do with your tank destroyers is stay somewhere back and try and fight off on the long range. As you can see, the friendly team is pushing quite aggressively down on the position of H8, so the problem is that with your tank destroyers you cannot really support all of the tanks that go down. So this KV-85 and the LC that are down really cannot be helped by the SU-152, but what the SU-152 can do is shoot at the Crusader here. Try and find a shot on the Crusader. Unfortunately, 0.41 accuracy is not that good at such a long range. I believe that was around 500 meters, so this is something that you have to struggle with when you're playing the SU-152. So he is using the standard Russian, I believe it's the 25S gun, and there it goes, the first hit and the first kill. The 25S, as I said, standard Russian gun, 175mm of penetration, 390 damage. And well, when you're a top tier, as you can see here, he's in top tier tank, you are going to do a lot of damage and you are going to have a great game. So this is something that you can expect in your SU-152. And well, all of the tier 7 Russian tank destroyers, actually 3 of the tier 7 Russian tank destroyers, so the SU-122-44, the SU-152 and the ISU-152S, that's the second premium tank destroyer, they actually have the same gun, only the small SU-100M, I believe it's called, has the 175 with 250 damage. So basically all of these tanks play similarly. You have to use the gun to the fullest. I find that the SU-122-44 is somewhat better than the rest of the tanks because it is more mobile and has more armor, and you can play it pretty aggressively. That was a nice shot on the IS, I have to say here, but unfortunately 175mm at that long range, really not enough to go through the IS's turret. So yeah, you can see how big the aim circle is, and well, that's the downside of this gun. What's great about this gun is the rate of fire, so you get, I believe it's 8.11 rounds per minute. That brings you to about 3150 or something like that DPM, which is kind of great. You have the DPM almost as the tier 10 medium tanks, so yeah, that's something that you can rely on and well use into your advantage. Now you can see that Anika is playing quite, how should I say it, carefully here, because every time the opponents try and push, he goes back and tries to find the shot at long ranges and not allow the enemy tanks to spot him. So now he is going to try to find the shot on this Crusader. That VK-3002D is in a pretty bad position. He's left there alone against a lot of tanks that are going to advance there. There is the Tiger, there is the IS. You can see that the SU-122-44, the counterpart that I was talking about on the SU-152, just popped up. And so yeah, the idea of backing up in time by Anika is pretty nice here, because he is now in a position to get far away from the combat and use the tank in the best way that he can. So that's the long range sniper shot. Even though, as I said, the accuracy is not that great, you have to play the tank destroyer as it is intended, so you have to find a nice position to ambush your enemies and well, shoot them and finish them off one by one. So now we can see he is trying to find a shot on this SU-122-44. As I said, the same gun on the SU. Fortunately, the SU misses, hits the side of the tank, and this is the second kill for Eniko. But you can see that the situation is pretty bad here. There's only a couple of tanks left here, so him and the T-40 and a couple of arties, and now they are surrounded by two sides, by the tanks from two sides, and also the enemies have the artillery that can just loop shells and shoot them in any cover. So yeah, this position that Anika is taking is pretty nice, because he is going to be able to protect the friendly side, so the friendly cap. On the A line now he finds two tanks here, one of them being the M6 and the KV-1S. The reason why he is shooting the M6 is the M6 has the bigger gun, it's a more dangerous target, it's a tier 6 compared to the KV-1S that is only tier 5. So he takes all care of the tier 6, now shooting on the KV-2. If the KV-2 finds the shot on the SU-152, he can easily penetrate him. But as you saw there, that KV-2 is not using the HE shells on his tank, so that's a problem for him. He was using the HE shells, he could have done a lot of damage to the SU, but fortunately for Anika he was not. And now there is only two of the tanks left, so the T-40 Skoda and the Anika his SU-152, and well, there is a lot of enemy tanks that are coming here. So the positioning of the T-40 is also nice. You can see that he has the side shots of the tanks and tank destroyers that are trying to push on position on where Anika is. So that T-40 is actually playing really good and is in a good position to help now. Fortunately, he bounces the shot from the KD-85. He is going to reload faster. And unfortunately, the SU-152 eats the tracks. With his tracks, he eats the shot here. But he is now dead, and KV-85 fires another one. Now he needs to be really careful here. He has the OI on the side. Wants to help the T-40. He ignores the KV-85 on his side. Wants to help the T-40. The KV-85 misses once again. Kills the KV-85. Now he has the KV-2 and the OI in the cap. Once again, he should be going for the OI, because the OI is not focusing him. He is always providing spots of the KV-2, but you can see that the T-40 is playing such a nice game here, and between the two of them they have 9 kills, so yeah. And the problem that I was talking about, the replay, you can see that the time is running out, and actually it's not, because as I said, the clock is messed up somehow. Now what he's doing here with his SU-152, he doesn't want to go out to face the KV-2. He's just providing spots on the KV-2, and look at the positioning of the Skoda T-40. The Skoda is going to flank the KV-2 and try and find the shots on the side, so yeah, the timer just ran out. Don't worry guys, we have a lot of more replay here. Another shot on the KV-2 by the T-40. The second one misses as well, but I believe that he is going to find the shot, finish the KV-2, and yeah, that's it. It was, I believe it was two of them versus I don't know how many tanks, 7 or 8, and now it's 2 versus 2, and the enemies have 2 artillery. So yeah, this is Even though I don't like to camp with my tank destroyers, this was a really good positioning all over the map, so pretty nice gameplay. And as you can see, they are joining the platoon and they are going to try and go for the crucial contribution. So if they find the two artilleries and finish them off, they are going to get the crucial contribution. There's the Crusader, there's the AMX. So the Skoda is in a pretty nice position to finish off those artilleries. But let's just hope he doesn't get shot by any of them. He finishes off the first one. It's the smaller one, the tier 5, I believe. Yep. And now he only needs to find the Crusader. So Annika is going to try and go and help the Crusader. He's already on 6 kills. It would be nice if the T-40 gets the last kills so the both of them have the top gun. And that would be, well, even though they are not in platoon, they didn't start this one in platoon, they are going to have a pretty nice game here. T-40 is still playing a nice game there. He is trying to use the bushes on the, as you can see, on the standard sniping position for the enemy team. Finds the shot on the Crusader, only needs to reload and to finish him off. Annika still trying to find the shot on the Crusader SP. Cannot find the shot through these buildings, but the T-40 finishes him off. That's a GG, and let's take a look at the post-game stats. As you can see, Annika had a pretty nice game here. Got a couple of medals like Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Crucial Contribution, Brothers in Arms, Top Gun, and of course the Master Badge Ace Tanker. On the team score sheet, we can see that he actually finished second with 1223 experience, 6 kills and over 3000 damage. The first one is the Skoda T-40 with 1729 experience, 6 kills and over 3200 damage. On the detailed report, we can see that he fired 20 shots, of which 14 hit the target and 10 penetrated. And with the standard account, he was able to break even and score a couple of credits, only 1700. So if we take a step back and see what we had in this replay, we had a nice game with the SU-152, playing standard like a tank destroyer, always taking cover in the bushes and always making some distance from you and the opponents. Try to find the long range shots and finish them off in that manner. At the end, when the tank destroyer is pressured, we saw a pretty nice choice of the targets, so finishing off the higher tier targets first, then taking care of the lower tier targets, which can be really important in this kind of matchup. And one thing that I forgot to mention in this replay is the synergy between the SU-152 and the T-40, so yeah, the next replay should be the T-40 and I'm going to make that one. So stay tuned for the next replay. As always, if you liked the replay, leave a like. If you didn't like the replay, you can leave a dislike and leave a comment what you think about the replay. And when you are done doing all that stuff, if you don't know what to watch next, you can watch the previous replay with the T-44. That explains how you should play your low tier tank in a top tier match. And as always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, you can do it now. I hope you guys like this one and I'll see you in the next one.